My daughter, Teen, loves her uncle a lot, but she's angry at him right now. Walking home together one day, we saw an emaciated dog tied to a pole in front of an empty house. The owner must have abandoned her there. My daughter had tears in her eyes. I was already thinking of calling my wife and asking if I could bring the poor dog home before my daughter begged me. I took a picture and sent it to my wife with a couple of texts, and she said yes. When my brother-in-law saw the dog, he said, "He's probably going to die by the end of the week. Don't know why you bothered taking him home." She teared up a bit at that. It's been over a month now and he's still alive and recovering well. My daughter still didn't want him at her birthday party though. She's still upset at him for saying that we should have left her dog there and asked us not to invite him. He hasn't apologized for his remarks either, insisting he was only being realistic. Brother-in-law was upset, saying that I was wrong for denying him the opportunity to celebrate with his niece. I asked, "What did you expect?" My wife then said I was being petty with the comment. Am I the idiot for asking my brother-in-law, "What did you expect?" when my daughter didn't want him at her birthday? Not the idiot. Your brother-in-law sounds like one of those people who takes pride in being honest, when really they're just insensitive, thoughtless, and cynical jerks. Good for you for supporting your daughter, and your response was exactly right. If he wants to cling to his right to say what he wants, he can learn to live with the natural consequences. Yeah, honesty and tact are not mutually exclusive. What a shame that he can't understand that. And as far as I understand it, no one asked for his thoughts on the matter. It makes me crazy whenever people spout rude comments and defend themselves with, "I'm just being honest." No, you're just an idiot. No one asked, and your opinion doesn't matter. Your daughter may have seen a red flag in her uncle. He sees a sick, abandoned dog and thinks it should be ignored to die alone, i.e. depraved indifference. You and your daughter see the same dog and rush to provide it with TLC, whether it lives a day, a month, a year, etc. That's a huge shock to her, seeing that defect in her uncle, and she's very wise to not want him anywhere near her. He's cruel. I wonder if there's anything about the brother-in-law that OP could be brutally honest about. "Hey, bro, you look like an orangutan with a skin condition, and you smell like a dead armadillo." What? I'm just being honest. My bet is your wife is used to his behavior and has learned to excuse it, as is often the case with those who pride themselves in their brutal honesty and the enablers. Fortunately, your daughter's better than that. Let's hope she stays that way. I wouldn't want to be around him either. I'm not sure I'd want to spend much time chatting with your wife for that matter. Sorry, I'm just being realistic. Mini update. I'm not severing familiar relationships. It's not like I left no avenue for reconciliation. My daughter really loves visiting her grandparents, and my brother-in-law lives with them. She still sees them once every few weeks, so I didn't burn the bridges. I didn't go nuclear. It's just the birthday party. She just doesn't want him at her party. I did ask him to apologize to her, but he said he was only being realistic and that it's a miracle the dog is still alive. I, 25 female, had been married to my husband, 29, for a few years now. He has a younger brother who recently got engaged. I've known his brother's girlfriend for 4 years. We're not extremely close, but we hang out whenever there's a family get-together. Anyways, for her bridal party, she asked me to be the maid of honor. She has 4 other bridesmaids comprised of cousins and old school friends. I told her that I was very grateful that she had asked me, but unfortunately, I just don't have the time to do all the things expected of an MOH. I just had my first baby in November, and that's a lot. She's expressed wanting a bridal shower, bachelorette party, etc. I told her I could just be a regular bridesmaid. She seemed fine, but afterward, my husband told me that she was venting to my brother and telling him that I was being cold to her. She thinks I'm lying by saying I'm too busy because I'm on maternity leave and that I have all the time in the world and all her other friends work full time. My husband agrees with me, but his brother called me and said I should try to be accommodating to her. I reconsidered and I told her I would be her maid of honor if she covered half of the responsibilities, e.g. planning the bachelorette party. He said he would get back to me. The next day she calls me and asks me why I'm being so difficult. She says I'm the only one in the bridal party not working and that I should step up. I told her again that I was on maternity leave, taking care of a baby, and it was actually even more demanding than full-time work. She ended the call quite upset. Am I the idiot for not being accommodating enough? Not the idiot. Maternity leave is not a vacation, and she's delusional to think it is. This is what happens in a society that doesn't appreciate parenthood. Even if you were on vacation, why would you give up your free time to run errands for her? She's entirely too entitled. You've offered two very reasonable alternatives, more than I would have, and both are being rejected as not enough. If she has the opportunity, she'll dump all of it directly onto you and then get mad at you when it isn't up to her standards. Run. Your brother-in-law can kick rocks, as he's equally ignorant. Aside from an infant being full-time work, she's right about one thing. You're not working. So how are you supposed to afford a bachelorette party and a bridal shower on top of your bridesmaid's dress and other expenses? Those things are not cheap, and those responsibilities should be asked of someone she's close to, not someone she only hangs out with at family get-togethers. She just wants to use you as a party planner. So I would back out of this whole thing entirely. Attend as a guest only. My husband and I moved back to his hometown in July, and he started working for a company across the street from a gas station he frequents. Over the past few months, he's commented on how he's gotten to know the employees there by name, who are all women, and how the older women love him. I've been in there a few times personally, and never once seen an older woman there, but there's also a small restaurant there, so I just figured that maybe the woman he's talking about works in the kitchen or something. We gave birth to our daughter in September, and the talk of this woman ceased for a month, but now she's getting brought back up. Little playing stuff like, I'll just go to the gas station because X loves me, so she'll give it to me for free, when he was talking about wanting a beer but not wanting to spend the money. Again, I didn't think anything of it. But then he comes home with gift bags full of brand new clothes, or I noticed new clothes in our daughter's room that we definitely didn't have before. So I finally asked him where this stuff came from, and he was weird when he told me that the woman from this gas station got them for the baby. Like he was quiet and acted like he didn't want to tell me, type of weird. Now I'm starting to have a problem with this. He supposedly didn't know this woman before he started working across the street from her. And that seems like a short period for acquaintances to become this comfortable. As I said, I've never seen an older woman working there, and now she's going out of her way to buy my kid clothes from expensive places like LL Bean and Carter's. I told my husband, I'm not comfortable with this anymore. It's weird, I don't like it, and I'm starting to question the nature of their relationship because he's been working more hours, which could be unrelated. But who knows because his paychecks aren't reflecting it. My friend thinks I'm an idiot because it's obvious your husband is obsessed with you. I highly doubt he would cheat. But I'm genuinely not sure at this point because I don't know why a woman would go out of her way to do stuff to this extent for a married man unless he's given her a reason to think he was interested. Edit. I've questioned the overtime hours because his pay actually dropped. So he was given a $3 raise. And that was when he started working extra. It was about a week after I gave birth, so he said he wanted to clock in hours to get the extra money for the baby, and that was completely understandable. But he went from working 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. to 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. nearly every night, and his paychecks are almost $300 less than before he started working the overtime. Not the idiot. The fact that he's put the clothes into the baby's room without telling you that they were a gift from her tells me everything I need to know, personally. If he wasn't being shady, he wouldn't hide the clothes or act bashful when he's forced to admit who they're from. Next time, go with him to see this generous older woman. His behavior in this story is really suspicious. If he's spending more time than usual at work and the pay isn't reflecting that, that's a big red flag. I don't think you're being the idiot for feeling uncomfortable in saying so. Are you sure this is a gas station friend and not a work friend? Or your friend who doesn't think the husband's behavior is strange? Oh my, I hadn't even considered that angle. People who are obsessed with their spouses can still cheat and do bad things. I'm pretty sure he's cheating either physically or emotionally. You need to drop by for a visit during one of his late work days. Bring him some food so you don't look suspicious. You could also stop by this gas station and say, "I'm so-and-so's wife, and I wanted to thank the person who's been so generous with our daughter." Bring a nice thank you card so you look sincere. My ex was cheating and would get mad if I surprised him on his lunch with food. He'd take the food and ask what the heck I was doing there, and then slam the door on me. My current partner gets excited when I visit him and bring him food, and he introduces me to everyone he works with. Their reaction is always telling. "OP, your friend doesn't think it's suspicious that your husband works more hours but brings home less money? Or you've never seen this older woman at the gas station? Maybe I spend too much time here, but now I'm suspicious about your friend. Does your friend live with a romantic partner? If not, drive by her house next time her husband is working overtime and see if he's there. Girl, I think he's cheating, and she's buying the baby clothes because she's planning to replace you soon." My wife and I decided to get pregnant. We agreed that she would stay with our son for the first 2 years, and then I would spend another 2 years until he started going to school. My son, due to birth problems, was born with health problems, and because of this, there's a higher cost with doctors, exams, and medicines. And even with the health plan, we still have a lot of expenses. When my wife took maternity leave, we earned the same salary, and this salary would be enough to have a comfortable life with a child. But with our son's healthcare cost, it would be completely unfeasible. We currently have good financial conditions because I got a promotion that increased, and it's possible to have a comfortable life and provide all the health care for our son. Our son is a toddler, and we sat down to talk about these plans. She said she talked to the company, and they were willing to hire her again under the same conditions, and that we'd have to plan financially for me to stay at home. I was very honest, and paraphrasing here, I said, "Look, I know that our plans were these in the beginning, but we were only able to have this comfortable life because of my salary. If we depend only on yours, it'll compromise our income and not give us the same quality of health for our son. I'm sorry, but you being the sole provider in the house is not possible, and I'm not going to do this with our son. Daycare is not an option for us because my wife is entirely against it due to the bad reputation of these places in my country, and it's always been her wish to only enroll in school at the age of 4. She argued, saying that it was our agreement and that she supported me being at home, and now it's my turn to give her that chance. Me, I understand, and if it were the situation we expected, I would agree and do it, but that's not our reality, and I'm not going to do that with our son, and you'll have to wait a little longer, unfortunately." She was very upset, saying that I went back on our initial agreement and wasn't committing to something. My work is not possible from home. I don't see how making this change would financially compromise our family. I admit that maybe it was a failure in our communication, but on the day-to-day rush, am I the idiot? Added, she doesn't want our child to have a nanny or stay in childcare all day. She wants someone to stay with him until he's 4 years old. And this is why I hate making agreements years in advance and never do them, because something entirely out of your control can screw it up and make the agreement completely unfeasible when it's time. I will say not the idiot, but I can understand why your wife is hurt too. You make good points. You simply don't have the financial capacity for her to be the sole provider with her wages alone. Her being the primary caretaker is also a big mental strain on her. I disagree. You are the idiot. First, because you made an agreement with her that her career would be on pause, not shut down indefinitely. The longer she waits to go back, the harder it'll be to recover her career and catch up to where she would have been without the gap. More so, you are the idiot for telling her that you will not stay home and allow her to return to work. You're a family unit and need to treat each other as equals. You can certainly tell her that you value the greater financial stability of your current position over her desire to return to the office and above your integrity in keeping an agreement. Then you can discuss and come to a consensus together. What you can't do, what neither of you should do, is make demands. The mother won't compromise. She won't have a nanny or a babysitter. According to the mother, either she or OP has to take care of him. Financially, it won't work with the father staying home, as per the agreement. There were two choices: get a nanny or the mother stays home and doesn't go back to work. If she values career progression, they need a nanny or daycare. She should be flexible too. I got the results of my NIPT blood work today, and we both agreed with the doctor at the time that we'd like to know the gender of the baby. The doctor called me while my husband was away and said that the results looked good, and she would email me the results shortly after. The email landed, and I looked through the results in excitement and saw that we were having a boy. When my husband returned from work, I greeted him at the door and told him the good news. He was unhappy that I spoiled the surprise for him and robbed him of the moment. He wanted us to go through the results together, which he did not tell me. I apologized and said I was just excited to know that our baby was healthy and that we could still go look at the results together. He said there was no point. The moment was gone and that I never think when it comes to situations like this. He proceeded to call me inconsiderate and selfish. I apologized again, saying that I didn't mean to hurt his feelings or ruin the surprise. I just thought he'd be happy knowing our baby was healthy and happy, regardless of gender. The last thing he said to me was that I'm now responsible for buying all the baby's things because I spoiled the surprise for him. It's been 3 hours and he hasn't said anything to me. I feel so guilty that I might have robbed him of a chance to celebrate, but at the same time, is this the thing to be upset about? Am I the idiot? Edit. That being said, since I do make more, I've been more than happy to take on a bigger share of financial responsibility. So far, I've been paying for my OB visits, though he did pay for half of the NIPT testing. You are not the idiot. Yikes, that treatment is red flag behavior. I understand being disappointed that he didn't get to find out the way he wanted, but that didn't make it any less of a surprise to him. And now you're responsible for buying the baby's things? That's another giant red flag. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether you meant he wanted you to go shopping for everything yourself, putting the labor burden on you, or that he wanted to hold you financially responsible for the purchases as punishment. Neither is cool. This is your child with him, and you should share the labor and expenses. Just because you make more money than him doesn't mean financial punishment is okay. It seems like you already have one baby in the house. He only wants the symbolic parts of parenthood and none of the details. He's already not interested in learning more about the baby's health. He's already refusing to participate in buying baby things, which typically would be something to do together. I doubt you're in for a smooth parenting ride with him around. Giving you the silent treatment and refusing to help pay for your kid is simply too ridiculous for me to fathom. Girl, get a darn backbone. He's punishing you for a mistake. This is still a child. He loves and respects you, or he doesn't. He either is a father to that child or he's not. You don't need to parent the tantrum of an adult man.